Very, very good morning to you. This is Morning Cafe. I'm usually Stanley Nyuringita, actually in Nairobi, country 047. I don't know how it is wherever you are in, but in ile baridi yenye tunasema it's either ni baridi ya weather for two ama ni baridi ya uende utengeneze uji moto ukunywe. All in all, we're going to be discussing how your relationship looks like. If you have one, we try to see if yet in a marriage, if you're in a marriage, is it all about love or companionship? Ile story ya chicken and egg, which one came first? Ile story ya carrot and a stick, which one goes after the other? Love or companionship? And we have a whole panel on this conversation just to help us tuelewe story ya is this love or companionship? Which one should come first on that? 0795-045-864 is the number to call us. Tutafurahia sana tukisikia sauti yako. 0793-267-279 is our WhatsApp number. Talk to us. We've posted that question on our Facebook page, and so far people are already talking happiness. Ndao anasema marriage is for companionship and love is part of it. And we'll be getting to know if our panel agrees with that. The panel, they're not new faces for these conversations. And I love the fact that today tuko na a couple wenye wamekuwa in marriage for many, many years. And then you have young people who are in that process ya kuona kama wataingia into marriage, wao ndio watakuwa natuambia. Sasa sijui tuanze from left to right, ama tuanze ladies first. Let's start with the ladies first. Lydia Ziwa, Collins Kagiri, Nifina Mura, as well as Richard Ziwa. Karibuni sana.
Thank you.
I'll definitely allow all of you to do an intro, and even as we do this, normally I always start with an African proverb, but today I want to change things up kidogo and go with a particular marriage humor. And people say, so someone once said that marriage is like going to a restaurant. You order what you want, then that when you see what the other person has, you wish you had ordered that. Marriage is like going to a restaurant. You order what you want, then when you see what the other person has, you wish you had ordered that. And mostly, bedhe ukiendanga restaurant, nanga umse ningeorder hiyo. I'll start with you, Richard. Do you agree with this?
I certainly agree with it. Life is like that. Mm-hmm. And that tells you, informs you that it's never greener on the other side. Be content with what you have and work it. You'll be amazed when you begin eating your own, how sweet and how tasty it does feel like. Uh-huh. Yeah, that's how it has been like for me. Uh-huh. That does not mean while the waiter serves me, I don't see that the waiter is a cute girl. But what I have is cuter than her, and I'm content with what I have. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Viewer meona ukipoint mahali up and they're wondering where you're pointing towards. You can definitely also introduce, because there are two Ziwas in the building, I'd said a couple. So I think nitaruka the young people and then head to, do you share your husband's view on this? When, even for this humor, getting into marriage, it's like going to a restaurant. Nimeona what the other person ordered and you're like, ningeorder ile.
I think that is bound to happen because, the reality happens in marriage. Like you walk in and you realize, oops, I didn't know this guy behaves like this. So it's a reality that sometimes you can look at maybe something else or someone else and you say, did I really make the best choice? But as Richard has said, it takes time to at least so develop what you have to make it better.
So it cuts across both genders?
Yes.
Mora, do you agree? From a lady's perspective, do you think ukiingia in marriage, unaona, hapana, ya ule inakaa fiti zaidi. I probably had the wrong person.
No, for me, I think I agree with it because once you get into a marriage, marriage is all about you commit yourself. It's a growth. You commit yourself. Yeah.
Collins?
I fully agree. Let's leave even alone the marriage kidogo kwanza. Even a relationship, even just a normal relationship. it's bound to happen. You may find you took this woman, let's say I'm talking from a man's perspective. Inaweza kuwa ulichukua huyu msichana, you want to date her, and then on the way you find kidogo labda ule ananifurahisha ama kuna kitu yule ako nayo yenye wangu hana. It's bound to happen, it's normal. But if you also need to be strong on your decisions. Usikue someone who can be easily swayed through, it's so difficult to satisfy human wants, but at the end of the day you just have to be satisfied with what you want, as long as you made sober decisions. Enda nayo.
But do you think kulo time ya wazai wetu,
yeah,
things were easier at that time, and the viewers will be telling us, in the sense that kitambo hakuna ile intro as much, hakuna ile dating process as much. You meet in church ama unaambiwa enda salimia wale kwa ile boma, next week you're already with this person, marriage. There wasn't the time to build up a love as much. Ni companionship, mlifika, umefika age ya kuoa, enda ukae na ule, enda mwanzishe nyumba yenu. Na dynamics ziko sahi with everything, social media, nini, there's so many options. Ukiangalia the fact that kitambo hakungekuwa na options around you na sahi. Do you think ina play a factor hapa?
Yeah, because you get exposed to a lot of things. So in one way or another, it will affect you whether you like it or not. And furthermore, it was much easier for our parents, long time dating, because a lot of people back then were morally upright as compared to the people currently that we have. So that is why it was easier for them dating without mambo mingi. So just like miezi mbili, washaoana wiki moja, washaoana na wame move in pamoja hata. And then maybe after 2 months, bibi akona mimba na tuanze maisha.
Richard, you're chuckling, and I think it's like I've started taking you down memory lane when before you even met, Lydia and all that years back. I mean, is it true? Because even from what we hear back in the day, when there wasn't urban migration imefika as much, so the kind of choices that even as a man you'd have around you, you'd go for, the ladies around you, for example. Right now, there's just so many options, even for man. Ukitaka hata uangalie, for you coming from Uganda, niangalie niona, you know what, let me go to Uganda. Let me call someone from Uganda. It's just, the options are too many right now.
Oh, yes. I think this postmodern views of relationship has a lot to challenge the past, and you can't put your head in the sand about it, because the litmus test in the past for finding a good wife, it's separate that our parents in the time, for them all their needs were 3. I remember telling my wife then when we were dating, my needs are so simple and you can meet them: food, respect, and sex. If you give me that, remember the last one, sex. So it's so clear also in the past that our parents gave you something so simple that you can't miss it. The premium was on can you respect me? Can you cook for me? And then can we make love and raise children, raise a family? Now you jump onto this other equation in this age quadrant where we are at now, and you have social media platforms to contrast and to compare what you need. And you have to break loose from all the limitations and the parameters that were given to you and say you can only marry in our ethnic group. Then you're like, I've been able to explore the world around and I've seen amazing, incredibly good people out there. So I can't be limited to the options that I have around me. So I think it is incumbent on anyone to know that the more you go out there, you find various options you can work with.
Mura, ukiuliza our parents, is marriage worth it? Wanakuambia, sindio. That's why you hear, you start a family, blah, 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 all that. But right now, if I was to ask you, as someone who's now thinking of marriage in the near future, unadhani marriage is worth it?
I think marriage is viewed in different perspective. So like we have tradition and history way, and we also have modern view. So in a modern view, for example, I can give example currently here in Nairobi, young couples tend to fall in love first. They date, they fall in love, then they can decide later whether to marry each other or not. Then in traditional and cultural perspective, for example, my parents maybe walikuwa wanatumiwa nini, walikuwa wanatumwa maybe kwenda kwao, wanaangalia the background of the girl,
wanafanya survey hapo,
wanafanya survey, wanaangalia hivyo kama kuna uwezo, maybe financial stability, kama kuna uwezo, the man has the uwezo wa ku protect the lady, then ndio wakuje wawane. So ni different traditional na nini.
And Lydia, just to pick from what she's saying, because the people, I mean, even for a generation really, for you guys and even way back, the kind of advice we're given comes from a place where such happened. In a certain, kama ni clan, suitors wanatumwa, the bwenda msurvey kwa ile boma. These suitors don't have in mind love. Oh, story yao ni tofauti sana. Ni story yao ni anakaje, finances wako sawa, akona tabia mzuri, anaweza pika, nini, you know. And also, I don't know if it now happened from the ladies' side to the wakitafuta mtu, a man, but that was the view. This, maybe if it's suitors, ama kama ni parents, and parents wana agree, wanasema, niko na kijana size hii umri, wanaweza kuja pamoja and start their family. There wasn't love, the idea of love at the back of their minds. It was about companionship. Has that changed over time?
Okay, I think I may appear a bit controversial, but I think love is not enough to keep a marriage. Because you're having some people saying the way they're in love, even in social media, they come out, and actually you can even see the love because of how they're treating each other. Then a few months later, they've gone separate ways. And you wonder, how comes in the olden days, people who never appeared to be so in love, 50 years later, they're still married?
What's love? Because I mean, both of you here married, and we're very, very concerned. Me nimekuwa kwa streets for long, and I'm wondering, what's love in your perspective, in the many years of marriage you've been in?
I think my simple definition of love is just being selfless. If it's just about you, always demanding like, what am I getting out of it? It can't be love, because the time I don't get what I've been asking for, I will fall out of love. I'll say, I'm not in love with this man, because another one will come and I'll be expecting just to receive and receive. But if I look at it as love is selfless, and it is a give first before you think of always taking and taking.
Kunaangalia sura Richard nione kama he's saying Roger that. Before niende kwa Kulo, still on that beat here, because you say love is not enough. I mean, yes, okay, fine. But what ideally should come first? Ndio maana nilikuwa na raise ile kitu ya chicken and egg. We always, which one comes first in this case? So hypothetically, before mpatane, there's that whole dating process ya kujaribu kujuana. But what comes first? Is it companionship ama ni love?
I think it's a desire to have a companion. That's one. So you already have at the backdrop what you want, what you're looking for. So when you meet that person, and I think it's in human nature to feel that feeling, which you call I'm in love. You just meet, I can't say I've met you today and I'm saying I'm in love with you. I don't even know anything about you. So I think that feeling is normal for attraction. Then later on, you actually get to love the person for who they are. But that feeling has to come first for at least for you to go for the first date.
So kuna time limit fulani hapo. Kolo, I'll ask the same nilikuwa nimeuliza Mura.
Okay.
First of all, as a young, because for them, they've been for many years in marriage. So if you ask them, they'd be like, marriage is worth it because of this and this and this. But as a young person, the fact that there's so many options right now. you'll always unaanza hii relationship unaona ai hapana mimi nitachana nayo because I know at the end of the day I still have 5 other options in my phone. Is marriage worth it?
Is marriage worth it? Yeah, marriage is worth if you lay the right foundation. I'm just going to put it as simple as that. Just lay the right foundation and it will work for you. Yeah.
Kuna time limit gani ya mostly now even as a boy child.
Yes.
Yenye umeanza dating process.
Okay.
And then because alinasema ni the idea of being the companion.
Yeah.
Umeanza dating process. You're yearning for na dekuwa na umse. But ni time limit gani unadhani unafaa kuanza sasa kuambia umpoa manze I'm in love with you.
I'm in love. Love. Hapo kwa love. Okay, this is how I'm going to say it. According to us, the young people, is marriage worth? Kidogo we find it hard because you need to understand one thing. When you find someone who says that marriage is not worth, you need to understand from their perspective where they're coming from. You need to understand that some people have come from broken families. So as a result of them coming from broken families, they'll end up viewing, we are all products of our environment. So unapata ile environment will grow here, and what you saw with your surrounding, it will impact you whether you like it or not. So unapata like, and then that is one, and then two, kuna social media. Social media imekuja, and then it has turned us to believe that marriage is not worth due to zile story tunaonanga kwa social media. Unaona, amechitiwa, nini, where's my camera? That is my camera. First of all, I want to tell women this. You see, women say that men cheat most. I want to tell them, it's women who cheat most nowadays as compared to men. It's far much expensive for a man to cheat than a woman. So unapata kuna uto tu vitu zinafanyika kwa social media, they will impact you, and then unaanza kukua ule alifanywa hivi. So in the long run, the back of your mind subconsciously inaingiza uoga ndani yako. So unakuwa na a lot of trust issues. So on the issue of when is the right time to tell someone that you love them, hiyo swali ni ngumu jamani.
From a lady's perspective, because engaging with a number of ladies, they would be more susceptible kwa kwanza kusema and even expressing, because naturally mwanaume inakunga ngumu kujiexpress in some of these things. Deep down yenyewe bidhaa anaweza taka kusema, lakini anaona hapana, hapa nikianza kusema mapema itapunguza gangster points. But for a lady, atasema if she feels it, she'd really say it. In your case, unadhani ni time limit gani yenye ni sawa tu kusema I'm in love?
Okay, for me, according to my perspective, I can say that, okay, first, marriage is fundamentally about love and companionship. So love and companionship go hand in hand because they are the core things in marriage. But there are other elements to make it strong and also long-lasting. So in order to make your marriage long-lasting, I think you should have, first you should fall in love with each other first. After falling in love, then you date for, I don't know the exact, though.
It varies from one person to another.
Yeah.
Vile tu mtasikizana.
That's personal perspective. Months, you know? Yeah, and personal perspective. Someone may date because of maybe, okay, a lady anaweza decide to date maybe because you have a car, you have money, something of that sort. So it depends from your own perspective. Na others wanaweza date maybe because, yeah, mmeka for long.
Unaona hiyo part amesema ya gari na
gari
hapo to underline with capital letters and in bold. Hapo sasa ndio wanatushikia hapo siku hizi. Kuja na gari kidogo hata mtamaliza wiki moja.
So that's personal perspective.
And so Richard, as you come on this, because she says that you fall in love with each other. But so here two people who do not know each other. These are total strangers. They've met wherever they've met. Wakaanza kujuana polepole. So does it automatically happen at the same time, or someone would fall in love with the other first, the other is trying to also get those feelings, but he or she is not in love with the other person. And the bigger challenge hapa ni huyu moja akikwambia ashaanza kusema by let's say even a month, ashaanza kusema I'm in love with you, huyu mwingine anaona I'm not there yet, na so inakani kama unaniharakisha. Now the other person feels like wewe mbona hauko hapo yet.
I think that describes my journey with Lydia. You should be able to understand that the first proposition is to kiss dating hello. And you remember that old song, hello, is it you that I'm looking for? It would be a good start for you to navigate this journey with the precaution that the word love is not something men are used to, or a language we understand or appreciate as men. So if you find a man come and tell you I love you, it has come from far. One, we shy when we hate the idea of rejection as the first stimulus of response from the one that you're saying I love. I told her, and she said, oh, really, thank you, but I didn't even want to hear what she has to say next, because one, she threw me off balance. But I'd been rehearsing and gathering courage for so long.
She's the one who said I love you first?
No, it's me who told her.
Okay.
And she said, no, thank you.
She said, no, thank you.
Yeah. And she said, I have a boyfriend. So me, I'm thinking I'm the only one in the picture. And she said, no, I have a boyfriend. Actually, I've been seeing someone, but let's be friends. So it is imperative for a man, for a young man, or anyone who is interested in the proposition to pursue someone, to kiss hello to dating, so that you can navigate the journey to know someone. Women understand the subject of the construct of the word love. For us, it's foreign. That's the honest truth. Like you said, with the backgrounds where we come from. I've never had my dad a singular day tell his wife, I love you. Never. So children have a way of acting what they've been predisposed to. Yes. So if you've never seen anyone act it for you, it's quite unlikely that that will be your modus operandi when you find someone of the opposite sex. So I would say take time to date, and don't date only when you're pursuing her. Pursue her all the way through, even when you get up. That's how we keep the flavor going.
All right. It's almost past, and perfect time to open the phone lines. 0795 045 864 is the number to call us. And the question is marriage mostly about love or companionship? Which one is it really about between the two? Love or companionship in a marriage? Ukiingia kwa ndoa, tupigie simu, tuambie, would definitely be happy. What you do when you call us, tell us your name, where you're calling us from, have your TV or wherever you're watching us mute or off, ndio tusikuwe na tatizo ya communication, and then tuambie if you have any question for the panel, they'll be answering it. If you have any feedback, we'll be glad to talk with you on that. 0793 267 279 is also our WhatsApp. Unaweza tu text pia 22047 ndio SMS namba yetu. Hiyo swali tumepost on our Facebook page pia. Is marriage mostly about love or companionship? Tukiendelea, I'd love to sample a couple of feedbacks that mnaweza nisaidia pia ku analyze vizuri. Mzungu wa Grena anasema nobody, not even King Solomon, can answer this question. Zachariah Francis, it was for companionship some years ago, but nowadays is about money that brings love. Money, okay. That's an interesting one, Lydia. Money did not let her love.
Yeah.
Not the other way around.
Ina enhance. Because the reality is...
Money ni pesa ni sura ya mapenzi.
Yeah, because the reality is, okay, I don't want to say it's just fully money, but it enhances the relationship. One, you want to go for a date, you want to buy a gift, you need money. But again, it should not be the only thing that you're saying. Okay, I know most people will say, ai, hatutakula mapenzi. As in, that's a statement which is very common. Takula mapenzi, enda job. Because the first few days you'll be like, wow, you feel all nice. Even if you go for the honeymoon, you're all excited. Then after a week, you're like, okay, we need to work. We need to make money.
We need to eat.
Yeah, because actually money can bring you together or can drift you apart. Money plays a major role in a relationship. Yeah.
All right. Better if both accompany manake pasipo na companionship no love, so zote ziko sawa. Line from at the river Kinane, Uni Benson Wanjala Jr. Edmond Kiplangat replies there, they complement each other. And tumeongelea sana about love and its understanding in both the past and now sahi, both dynamics. I'd love us to also touch on what companionship means. Ndio, because you're yearning for a companion. But companionship ni nini really? In this day and age, sahi, companionship ni nini?
Companionship in this day and age, for me, how I would want to describe it. You know, companionship is a whole aspect ya vile mnakanishana na mtu. You understand? How you talk to each other, how you argue, how you talk about, how you share your goals together. You know, vitu kama hizo ndio zina make up for, hizo ndio vitu zinafanya a marriage or rather a relationship to be successful. How you treat each other. Unaona? Are you understanding? Are you caring? Those are some of the nitty-gritties that make up a good companionship. And for me, I think marriage or rather relationship is all about based on companionship. Love, inaishanga. But lakini vile huwa amesema about money, and that is why we are finding it very hard for us to marry nowadays. Tunauliza sasa, unaenda kuambia msichana unampenda na uliza kama utambai. You know, I'm going to tell you an example. Hii wiki, I was talking to my friend. Nikamwambia, what if I was to date you? Akaniambia, Kagiri una gari? Live sasa.
Self-esteem imeenda juu ama chini?
Ukiambia vitu kama hizo roho yako inavunjika sasa, you know. But it is life. You know, imefika point side, it's all about the money. What am I gaining from this relationship or rather this marriage? Kama uko na pesa sasa tunaweza ongea kidogo. Kama una pesa, I mean, who will want to talk to you, even look at you? Mambo ni ngumu.
Kuna kitu umemention hapo, mapenzi inaisha, yenye ningependa tuongelele in a few, but still on that interpretation ya companionship. So hiyo ni perspective yako, not yet into marriage. From a lady's perspective, not yet into marriage, unadhani companionship from a lady, what will you want this man to be providing for? Ama ikayaje as a companion?
Okay, from my perspective, I can say that it's not a must. A man provides money. Pia love, it's a major thing. Lazima mpendane tu. But pesa si sana. Unaweza cope up na yeye. The little.
Yuko sawa. Hey, all right.
But after that, kama my friend is talking about money, pia hiyo bado ilikuwa ina exist before. Like kitambo historical. Juu kama familia ilikuwa inaenda kwa familia ya kijana, familia msichana ilikuwa inaenda kwa kijana kuangalia kama wako na mali. So ilikuwa ina exist before. So si kitu imeanza juzi.
Okay.
But haikuwa kwa top list hapo, unlike squeeze.
Ilikuwa kwa top list kwa sababu kitambo pesa ilikuwa.
Now we're going to call her. Let's pick this call first, then we continue. I'll go with Richard on companionship, meaning Nandala kutoka Diani. How are you, Nandala?
Yes, I'm doing good.
Asante sana kwa kutupigia simu. Watu wa Diani mnaendeleaje?
Okay, Diani kuko salama. Yes, amani imejaa.
Asante. Uko na feedback ama maoni ama swali?
Yes, mimi niko na maoni kuhusu masuala ya companion. Yes, from my angle of perspective, yes, actually relationship issues have no manual. Yes, and actually this thing inategemea na pale penye where you stand, your principles and the background that you have grown. Yes, because kwa mfano tukiangalia mtu ambaye amekuwa katika mazingira ambayo amepitia frustration, pengine ameishi na single parent, most of the time these people tend to lack the value of marriage. Yes, na venye tu Mr. Richard alikuwa akisema hapo, we get to see sahi kuna, mi nataka kuziita a lot of blends Kuna blends nyingi sana ambazo zimetokea. Ukiangalia sasa tuko na social media, there's a lot of things taking place alafu there is lust for money also. Nimesikia rafiki yangu kijana hapo youth akisema huyu demo ametaja gari akaona anasukuma kwa ukuta. That sounds like an example, but it's a real thing what is happening in the ground nowadays. Yes, na ukifuata kijana muzisho relationship anakuwa like hii let me just do it for fun, tuone tu venye itaenda huko mbele. So I think love relationship issues as in a manual, but if you get to understand your principle, where you stand, and from there ukijua chenye unataka. Unajua watu wengi wanaingia kwa relationship na wajui kwa nini yani nini wanataka kwa hiyo relationship. So tukipata kujua hapo, kwa sababu mimi I always believe katika ile system ya kuwa kwanza na believe kuwa love is just a feeling and it's very strange kujifanya pengine unapenda mtu umemwona leo ati unampenda tayari. You need time to understand this person, after there you build love, kwa sababu mimi wanasema trust ndio ina build love, na trust is a process. Mimi wanasema nikiapproach mtoto wa kike alafu nione ameniambia hani trust hiyo siku, I don't feel disappointed, kwa sababu that is what I expect. Nataka mtu ani trust kupitia, because I believe trust is a process being built over time. So tukipata kutrustiana, tukipata kujuana poa, from there we get the real love, and that real love is what will sustain us and make us to stay together. Hiyo ndo I think ndo itasaidia pakubwa, and I think that is the same thing ambayo our parents wetu wale wa zamani na mababu zetu walikuwa wakifanya. Wanakuja pamoja, wanajuana poa, wakishajuana anajua vile nitaishi na huyu mwenzangu, nikifika hapa nimecross line yake, up to here I can maintain this and that. From there they build a sensitive and a sense making relationship.
Right. Asante sana, yes. Asante sana Nandala. Salimia sana watu wa Diani. Thank you for that. 0795045864 is the number to call us. Si lazima bidhata ukuwe in a marriage, but what do you think? If you're really eyeing to get into a marriage, what do you think? Is love or companionship? Is marriage right now really about love or companionship? We'd be glad to hear your voice. Or you can text us on WhatsApp 0793267279. SMS number 22047. Real quick, Richard, just analyzing what Nandala anazungumzia hapa. He mentions quite a lot from Bata's background, story, value of marriage, money, asema haina manual, talking about pia love is just a feeling. Even actually before we come, because tumeongelea some of these things that he's talked about. Zingine tutakuja kuongelelea, but that unipatie your understanding of, even before you met Lydia, what is your thought process when it comes to, this is what I'm looking for, this is my ideal setup when it comes to companionship?
Thank you, Stanley. One of the things he mentioned, and I think it's a place where we might be arguing about here, but in relationship, some things are not worth arguing about, but they're worth talking about. Money is going to be a constant thread through your union. So you better be able to understand the subject of your interest. Not all people are your interest, the subject, that particular young lady or gentleman that you're interested into. We have a generation that does not know how to break into a conversation. Also primarily because we didn't see our parents break into a conversation with these things that we're grappling about. So you break out in the journey to pursue a relationship, and you go for a date, you don't even know what to talk about. Then the young lady is asking you, where are we going? Nikuishi tu, nikubonga tu. You don't know what you're going to do in the date. But when you go to a flow. Yes, you need to have the direction or the trajectory of your relationship. As you break into conversation, you make revelation of yourself. So it's in relationship that you get to know people. So when I was talking to Lydia, I got to know where her priorities are. And when people reveal themselves, believe them, because that's who they are. I knew where her priorities lie. She didn't mention a car, I didn't have a car. Thank God we have some cars now. Those days I didn't have a car. Well, the only car I had was called Mitsubishi. I was just walking around. But let me tell you the honest truth. When I was looking for a spouse, I told her exactly what I want. I told her I'm not looking for a girlfriend. I'm looking for someone to journey life's hardship together with. And I think you suit that category of the person I want to pursue.
Nafani andike hiyo mahali chini. That's my next line.
The reality is, there are certain things that are going to come across in your relationship. The hardship could be finances, the hardship could be having a baby, the hardship could be the pursuit to balance life and your career. It's going to come. It could be sickness, could be illness, here and there. So you should know where exactly you want to go in your relationship, knowing that there are certain things that are not worth arguing about, but they're worth talking about. So talk about money. So we talked about money. I was intimidated. The way I was earning was not going to match up with her paycheck. There's no way it was going to match up. So we had to talk about what I have and how I earn and how we intend to earn and how we are going to merge our finances together.
Right.
Yeah.
We do have Felix kutoka Bondo. Felix, habari asubuhi?
Asubuhi mkubwa.
Hello Felix, unanipata?
Ya, nakusikiza vizuri.
Asante sana kwa kutupigia simu. I hope watu wa Bondo mko salama. Do you have any questions ama maoni on our conversation?
I just have in your conversation.
Yeah.
So I just want to highlight on what Mora said earlier, that money was given the top priority even in the traditional. So, and my idea is, you see, I don't understand why we do have to focus much on money now. Because if you look at the traditional ways of marriage, yes, money was a major factor, but if you look at the role of the ladies earlier on, unapata the ladies walikuwa wanafaa wafanye to the wifely duties, unaona. But if you look at the modern day now, even women are playing a key role in the society. View wako na kazi, they are so much stable, and in fact they're even given more priorities in the job compared to men, unaona. So I think the idea of money being a major role in a major key in the relationship today, it doesn't have to be from man's side, unaona. Provided kuna love in between you people, money is supposed to be the least of the things to be considered.
Right.
Otherwise, thank you.
So thank you very much, Felix, kutoka Bondo. And so just going with what Nandala had mentioned about love is just a feeling, is where I really want to even continue that. So we have these two items on the table here, love as well as companionship. Wafula John on Facebook anasema, will you have companionship without love? No, marriage is companionship, which comprises of love and submission. Ameuliza pia nitume wapi, nitume till ulipe bill. Okay, sawa. Tutasort hiyo baadaye. So this goes to show that these two items work in tandem. As much as tumesema if you yearn for companion, then you build on that love. But then zinafaa zikuwe both of them in tandem vizuri. Lakini Nandala brings up a whole other conversation that love is just a feeling. Na itapotea tu. I think Kola alikuwa mentioned pia. Love itapotea tu. It's just a feeling. So that means one of the items is out of the table. So you're just left with companionship. How does this work, Lydia?
Okay. I like the fact that you say love is a feeling. Because, you know, when you look at love as a feeling, it's true, it will disappear. But when you look at love as an action, it's things that you do. You'll keep on doing them even when you don't feel the love. You know, sometimes I don't feel like I love him. I look at him and wonder, what happened here? You know, there are days like that. But because I am committed to him, I still act towards him in a way that it spells respect and love. So feelings come and go. There are days you feel like you really love the person, especially when he's taking you for a holiday. You know, you feel that love again. But the feeling, like I said, it will come and go. So you still have to keep on acting. Choose what works for you. Because if you say, if I don't feel it, I won't even talk to him. If I don't feel it, I won't, you know, act I'll be rude to him. So there's a way you have to always respond to each other, whether you have the feeling or not.
That's
Yeah.
right.
I'm smiling because I'm taking a look at comments upper Facebook, WhatsApp. I think it's called Elivo. So I'm 27 years and I've been in love with a 32-year-old lady. She has 1 kid. What advice will you give me before I get to marriage? The lady seems to have money and I love being with her because she makes me smile. Yoni yake Elivo. There's another one that's just come in. Marriage is personal and an individual calls. It's not something that should be pushed by anyone. An individual should engage in it when you feel it's appropriate for you and feel comfortable about it. Yoni ya nyakwar where yo ya nani Elivo. Would you want to help him before nirudi kwa kulo?
We call it SOW. SOW, slightly older women syndrome. We have a generation, which I've mentioned, that now prioritize the need for money in relationships. So they will not necessarily love these women who do not have money. They will go for one who has the money. Because if it is love, how come you're not loving these ones who don't have money? Ni wengi kwa mtaa. Kwa nini uliwacha hapo uende kwa ule? Don't tell me that it is love. No. It's something else that you're pursuing. And once you get it, quite likely, time will show you whether you're really true and authentic in your commitment to care and to love her, because your target will be the money. If she puts a plug on that money, I have seen this relationship, they disappear. Men disappear. The women say, see, he was in love with me. It was the money, the car, the house, the clothes, the lifestyle and all that. So I'll be careful to help that gentleman saying, please seek therapy and counseling. What is your motivation and quest to go into that relationship? Because when the rubber meets the road, you'll be shocked. Your family is asking for certain things. Let's say the gentleman is in love with someone who's past 50. And for some reason, for her, she has had a couple of children and she's through giving birth. And she has put a plug or a battery and she's not giving a baby. But your dad and your mom, they're asking, and relatives and friends, hey, hata wewe pata kamtoi. The conflict that is in there, you find these people anageuka mama. So I would say we have a generation, again, of a young group of men who prefer slightly older women, not necessarily because they love them, but because of what comes with a woman.
Right. We have a caller, Mike from Nairobi, then I'll be getting to you, Kolo, na junadai kuingililia hiyo story yote. Mike kutoka Nairobi, unatupigia ukiwa base gani hapa Nairobi? Karibu sana to TV47.
Asante, mimi naitwa Mike, niko hapa civil servant. I was just listening to the panel that you're having there about marriage, companionship, and love. And I would love to draw attention to the Bible, where it all began. You see, when God created Adam, he looked at Adam and he had finished all the creation and he said, it is not good for a man to be alone. He said, I will create for him a suitable helpmate. That God said.
Okay.
Now, when God said a suitable helpmate, I want to believe that God created a woman for companionship first. Now, love, marriage, is more about companionship. And there is something that God stated there, a suitable helpmate. When you create for someone a suitable helpmate, that means a compatible person that will go a long way with you for the vision that you carry as a man.
Okay.
So woman was created for the man. Are you getting it?
Yes.
Woman was created for a man and not vice versa. Why was woman created for a man? Woman was created for a man because a woman was to complement a man in his endeavors. Hello?
Yes, we can hear
Now, what has metamorphosized in our society is I've been in marriage for over 18 years.
13 years.
And you find that when I was marrying, I felt in love. I felt attracted to this lady.
Okay.
Then I didn't even have that time to ask myself, what is he coming to compliment in me?
Okay.
You see that? And that is the mistake most of us are doing. You find a lady, you get attracted to her because of her beauty, and you fail to understand what is your assignment as a man on earth before bringing this person on your side. So love will come depending on the assignment that this lady is coming to compliment on your part. But you find nowadays, as young men, it is vice versa. Men will tend to want to compliment what the woman is doing. Why is it so? We have an empowered woman.
And Mike, kindly before you continue, because some of the viewers are saying so a bit of love here and a lot of companionship. In your view, do you think scale enough equal the same? Love na companionship, ama one is higher than the other?
I want to say that companionship is more. I want to agree with that lady that has come with his husband, with her husband. What he's saying that companionship comes first. You've reached that level whereby you feel I need someone in my life. Now the problem is we don't ask ourselves, why do I need this someone in my life? You feel I'm lonely and I have to have someone around me who will accompany me, who will. Okay, we tend to think that this person who will love me, but love comes after trust has been built and an assignment has been established. Then, when that assignment has been established, you'll find that you are doing these things together because it is giving you joy. Out of that joy, that's where love is built.
Right.
You see that?
Okay.
Now, come back to our contemporary society today. Young men are asking the right question, but in the wrong way.
All right.
Young men are asking, what is this lady bringing to me?
Is that a wrong question?
And not vice versa, that a lady is asking, what is this man bringing to me? I want to agree and again disagree, because you find nowadays dating, and the young men are there to agree or disagree with me. Dating nowadays is all about, we are going out, uko na dongapi, mimi niko na dongapi. Unapata, you go out but you pay your separate bills. And that's where we are killing the entire institution of marriage. And that's why you find people, they are telling each other, we are in love.
Right.
A short while later, after they have entered into marriage, these people are divorcing. Why? They have wrong information about marriage. They think marriage is all about procreation and having sex. But there is something that men ought to understand, and this generation, especially the young ladies, ought to understand.
Okay.
The same way that man has said that in marriage, there is man understands one thing.
Okay.
Respect.
Right.
You're chosen as a woman.
Okay.
And sex. In any organization or in any marriage, a man will translate respect as love, and a woman will translate responsibility as love. When you are responsible as a man, a woman will tell you outrightly, this man loves me.
All right.
You see that? But when you are not responsible as a man, a woman will tend to get tired, especially when women are providing.
Okay.
They get tired because they were created to receive, not to give.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
That's my take.
Thank you very much, Mike. 13 years in marriage, congratulations for that, and for your feedback. Quite the load of it yenye ameongelea. Konaangalia Collins, there's a point hapo amesema, and you're like, what do you mean? He was talking about the whole conversation when a man says, "What as a lady, what are you bringing on the table?" Your general view, your feedback here, Mike. What is your take?
Yeah, alisema it is kind of wrong, si ndio alisema? I believe it is not wrong asking what do you bring to the table as a woman. You know, it's 2024, not 1990. So as a woman, ni nini unaleta kwa meza? You see, are you bringing your brains on the table? Are you someone who can challenge me? Are you someone who can guide me when I'm going wrong? You know, you understand? So it's not always wrong when you ask a woman or a man, what do you bring to the table? You know, because I don't know, tuko na watu wengine kwa society just like, hapana. So I mean, you don't settle for less as a man or a woman, because who you choose to marry or be in a relationship with can either make you or break you. So it is upon you to decide it's upon you to know what you want first of all before getting yourself into a marriage or rather a relationship. And then, songa nayo tu vile imekam.
Okay.
But you just lay a good foundation for yourself, by having a partner who complements with who is in the same bracket of values as you. You share the same values, I believe.
Right. On Facebook, Grace Sasaka anasema it begins with love while still dating. Then once you get married, it becomes companionship. So to your quiz, hope is well articulated. Murad, do you agree?
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, he's talking about saying it begins with love while you're dating, and then it becomes companionship. Once you get married, it becomes companionship. So right now, even for someone who is not married yet, so story ya companionship hata ufai kuwa unafikiria as much. As much as Richard anasema tusiseme things flow to hivyo, but let things flow as it is. Just being in love, and then when you get married is now when you start thinking about companionship.
Yeah, for me, I think I agree with her. First, you need to develop love, because love is a strong feeling towards someone. So you need to develop that love. Then after love, then it comes to companionship. Then after companionship, you're ready to get married.
Do you think love huisha? I mean, Lida was saying, if you look at it in the sense that love is a feeling, yes, feeling itaisha, itakuja na iende. But if it's acts of service, then itabaki. So venye mtu sema, love yetu iliisha. Do you think hizo inakuwa stories za jaba ama for real love inaisha?
Okay, for me, I think love haishi. Once you are committed to something, lazima tu he make it happen. Ni action. Unapenda mse yes. So ina depend na kitu una nini nayo. I think love ni kitu important na haiwezi isha hivyo. Yeah. Ni love then goes on.
Okay.
Yeah. Haiwezi isha once you are committed. That's something that grows. Once you're together na mnajua mnapendana, it's something that grows with time. So inapata like kuacha hata mse kama ulikuwa unapenda mse na kumwacha itakuwa ngumu. So I think kwangu haiwezi isha.
Okay. I'm pretty sure you have. Do you think love huisha? Before that we get, I'd love Richard to give me a response on this comment. But Kolo, love huisha?
This is how I define love for me. I may love you, or as a woman you may love me. Unaweza nipenda like your boyfriend ama bwanako, unaweza nipenda sana. But you need to understand one thing. Kesho nikikuja nikikupiga, no matter how much you love me, if like violence for you is a deal breaker, no matter how much you love me, utaniwacha. So for me, it's all about companionship. Love ni feelings tu zinakujanga zikienda, but what works, or rather lays the right foundation for you, it's companionship. There's no two roads to exit. Companionship.
Now, for that, Richard, still on this comment, Grace Sasaka, it begins with love while still dating, that once you get married, it becomes companionship. So I love how he puts it. Once you get married, that's when you now start thinking about companionship. Does it mean that for people who are not yet married, they are afraid of building that, as he puts it, your foundation here, companionship, way before they get married? Because we can be in love for like 2-3 months, alafu ishe. There's no point of starting to build that whole level here, companionship right now. But when we get married, I know for sure nitakuwa nawe for some time.
Stanley, one of the greatest things I know personally is that love is interpreted differently to different people. To a woman, if she's listened to, provided and protected, she feels loved. So if you're going to be in a quest for a relationship, if you exhibit that sense of connectedness, that she feels loved, listened to, cared for and protected for a particular length of time, she'll break out in language and say, he loves me. If it's a man, and you feel that every time you contribute an opinion or exhibit a certain measure of conduct, you feel respected. She shows up, she cooks for you. I remember that was one of my litmus tests when I said, I want to visit you. And I wanted, not necessarily to visit you, I wanted to see, can she cook?
Was there a specific meal you had in mind?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
I mean, love chicken. So when she did chicken, she did know that was my litmus test to know she loves me. She respects me. She will honor me.
Okay.
The other subject comes after marriage. Yes, we went for honeymoon. The rest was history. Let me tell you, to anyone that is interested to be in a relationship, give dating an opportunity to be the yardstick you could use to know someone. And as you get to know people, they reveal themselves. And when they reveal themselves, believe them, that's who they are. Marry as close to what you want in life without trying to change it when you're married. If this person does not respect you while you're dating and courting, he won't respect you when you're married.
Okay.
If this person slaps you while you're dating, quite likely itakuwa vita mbaya mkikuwa married. So marry as close to what you ideally want in life, so that when you're married, deep inside there, you won't try to change this man, you won't try to change this man. That's how I would interpret love. Because I judge my relationship based on a very good foundation of Christianity. Love is kind. Love is patient. Love is not rude. It's not self-absorbed. It's not egotistical. There are things that ought to be characterized with the person that you love. So if you expect a miracle and you took a rude man who slaps you, who kicks the cat and the dogs along the way while you're dating, wacha, kiingia pale itakuwa mbaya sana.
We're still looking at the Facebook comments, and Kachu Max says, ukifikisha 30 years while unmarried, then it turns out to be for companionship to please our families and society. Lydia, do you agree? Because he still brings the whole concept of time here. The first one was saying that once you get married, that's when you start thinking about companionship. So that you BT, I'm waiting for this period of time, ndio nianza kufikiria about companionship. Do you agree that ukifikisha 30 years while unmarried, now it turns out to be something else different?
Okay, it will be very sad if you're miserable. Because you can imagine for 30 years, you're doing it for society. And you're saying that I'm in this marriage because of what people will say. Imagine churching, half your life you have lived in misery. So if you're choosing companionship, there should be a good thing, something you look forward to. And that's the reason why even most people are not even desiring marriage, because they have seen their parents miserable. So a young lady grows up and says, if that is marriage, I don't want it.
That's right.
For this, it's not 30 years in marriage, but when you reach 30 years...
Oh, in age.
In age, yes. While unmarried, then the dynamics change. The seek is not really about love, but just companionship, so that your family and society knows, but then ani ameoa. Ako 30 na ameoa.
Okay, I know that people may be under pressure to marry because of age, but that should not be the drive.
Yeah.
Because there are people who married even at 50, and they are happy for the next 20 years, or maybe 30 years they are alive. Some people marry at 20, and they're miserable for the next 30 years. So it's not about the age. Yeah. Okay.
Kipiegon Kwecho says marriage is a good thing. Alphonse Mariti Kiplagat says love. Einstein Major Lawi, at first it was about love, before it was turned into companionship by well-organized criminal gangs. Wow. Dogo atasema Ford Foundation ndio ina just that love inawatukanisha tu, but what will keep you is companionship. It brackets understanding, maturity and attitude. Judy Wamwaniki, do marriage still exist? What we have is roommates. Or I'm looking at you on this one, still on the same. As someone, because you're not there yet, really. So your view on ile ideal setup your marriage in a kuyaji for you, because I know ladies really think about it mostly than men when it comes to how the ideal setup of a marriage, how it should feel like, how you should be treated, a whole day when your marriage in a kuwe. Ladies really think about that. In your case, how should marriage be?
Okay, in my case, I'll just say that in marriage, you need to give each other personal space. Kila mtu anafaa kuwa na space yake, so that mkuje to an understanding. So with that, I think itakuwa better.
Okay. Richard, I can see you shaking your head.
I definitely like what she's saying.
And for you, because there's something you had in mind before getting married, comparing that and right now. Did you have to relearn and unlearn some things? Because ulikuwa na nini fulani ya marriage, this is what marriage should be like. Nikiamka asubuhi na relax na pikiwa chicken breakfast, but then you have to relearn some of these things when you get into marriage.
Yep. My dad had more than one wife.
Okay.
To be exact, that I knew of, there were 3. My mother is the firstborn of 70 children. You can add the math. The other 69 siblings had different parents. So I had a script which was negatively scripted. But like they say when you're married, when you wake up with a bad breath, don't inflict it on your wife. So change the way you conduct yourself by doing something right. Go brush your teeth. In my text, I had to find the alternative of how to equip myself for the new journey I'm going for. I knew I'm going into a cross-cultural relationship. That meant I can't demand of my wife things I'm not willing to do for myself. If I'm going to require breakfast, I should be able to prepare breakfast for her, for which she's here. I've cooked her breakfast for the last 15 years.
Okay.
Yeah? And it works. I love a good meal. I had to learn to cook. She's here. I've cooked her every kind of cuisine that she can think about, and she does reciprocate. In relationship, and in a hilariously happy relationship, what you invest in that relationship is what is reciprocated back to you. If you come from a place of brokenness and heart and woundedness, and you bring that with you, that trauma into the relationship, women have the potential to multiply it by the power 1,000 plus. Don't bring 50-50 in a relationship. Bring 100 plus, and she will reciprocate the same. If you're going to be in in what I call a lengthy covenant relationship with someone, there are certain things you need to undo. Change the way you think.
And on that, Kulo, young men out here, before they get into marriage, they always have a certain image. I may paint a picture here, this is how marriage should be like. As he says, inabidi saa zingine unaingia una relearn some of these things. So even before you get into marriage, umeambiwa hizi vitu zote, umeenda rurashio nini, ukaambiwa usijali, marriage ni rahisi. Mwingine atakwambia hapana, marriage ni ngumu msee, usiingie, we relax. So having all this in mind, do you think you ni reason moja young men really are afraid of even getting into marriage? Msee hapa anasema ukafika 30 years old, dynamics zina change, au utafuti love, when ni companionship, ndio watu wa relax nyumbani. Wache kukuliza, Kolo, wapi bibi bana, wapi watoto?
Yes, it is very true. Ni ukweli inapatia watu pressure based on, as I said before, on our background, what you see, it will impact you whether you like it or not. But huyo mwenye amesema whenever you get to 30, you start looking for someone, ndio wazazi watulie. I guess you are getting into marriage for the wrong reasons, na it will frustrate you out hapo mbele, itakufanya mbaya. So know what you want, share the same values with your woman, lay a good foundation, as he said, and learn new things, and don't be too rigid, and do whatever works for both of you. Because you need to understand one thing. Their marriage, kuna vile wame define, and they do whatever works for them. Mimi kama Collins, I'll do whatever works for me and my house. If I as a man find it, I don't have a problem washing the utensils. Unajua, mwanaume unaosha vyombo, unaosha vyombo aje bana, ni mama, you know. If it makes me happy and I don't have a problem doing it, do it. Don't be that kind of man who is too rigid kufanya vitu zingine, and you know you don't have a problem. Wewe fanya, do whatever works for you. But you know, as the Bible says, mke mwema utoka kwa Mungu. You finds a good woman, finds a good thing and favor from God, you know. Enda kwa maombi, juu imefika point. So sahi hatuwezi na kutafuta bibi kama vile babangu alikuwa anatafuta. Babangu angalia bibi, nataka huyo. Mimi siwezi fanya hivyo. Imefika maombi, lazima niombe, ni fastie. Ni ngumu bro, because you need to understand who I will take in my life. Will either break me or make me.
Tanguka nayo.
And I don't want to settle for tanguka.
Lydia, as you come in this, there's something Nandala, our first caller, said, and this is again a reminder, just in case you're just joining us right now. So far we've had from 3 callers, all of them gentlemen. I'd also love ladies, mtupigie simu mtuambie your perspective. We're asking you, is marriage all about love or companionship? So Nandala said that hakuna manual. He also talked about background, the family background really. And I'll pick from what, Richard tells us, that coming from a setup where a polygamous kind of marriage, the dad has other wives, so you grew up seeing that. What kind of effect does that have in this day and age that you've seen back at home? There are certain other, unajua uko na mama mkubwa, mama mdogo, mama kama ni watano. So far, what effect does this have on a young person when they also want to get into marriage?
I think it also scripts them in a major way. You can't ignore the fact that, your family background affects, even the choice of a mate. And again, you may even hate it, you don't like it, but if you don't work on it, if you don't choose to get even therapy over it, you'll find yourself, you hate the whole idea of being even maybe a second or third wife, but because you saw it in your family, you find yourself in that situation. So again, there's one mentor who told me, you attract who you are. Yeah. There's a place where you start working on yourself. If you don't like who you're attracting, please don't blame the people coming your way. Work on yourself, because you will be attracting who you are. Yeah.
Festus Nzioki on Facebook says, this is a very beautiful comment. Marriage is about companionship, but love is an ingredient of the companionship. Amos Baraza, none of this. Marriage is all about sharing resources. Oh yes, Samuel Ngeno. It's a buy one and get one free. And he puts the free in quotes as love on that. Mura, as a young person, hearing from what is the different sentiments, some are for, watasema, mimi love iko sawa, mwingine atasema companionship comes first, then we'll build on love a little bit later on. Still on that beat here, your background, the kind of things you're told. Tumeambiwa love ina manual, but then utasikia a number of things hapa na pale. Uambiwe love ina make sense, mwingine atakwambia pana, wachana na love, mapenzi ni ya wazungu, sijui nini, all that kind of things. Unadhani iko na effect gani kwa mtu mwenye anadai ku get into marriage?
Come up again.
With all that people hear on the society, everything that you're told, what kind of effect does that have solely ya mtu anataka kuingia into marriage? Because atasikia different views. Ataambiwa love, I make sense, mwingine atamwambia love and marriage is easy.
Okay, so for me, marriage is what you make out of it. So usisikize mtu akikwambia ati, like usisikize msi akikwambia ati love, ati mapenzi, achana na love, like I make sense. So ni wewe kujitakia kitu unataka. So that at least ujue ukipenda mse, kama unataka mse mwenye ako na pesa, so hiyo ndita, so umempenda juu ya pesa, so inaweza lead itakuwa disadvantage kwako. But ukipenda mse, like for example, my friend alikuwa anasema ati kuna mwenye alisema about like kama mwanaume ameuliza msichana, what are you bringing to the table?
Yeah.
Na okay, kama amemuuliza Kenya analeta kwa table, so that means like anataka nini anaweza bring to the table, like uko na pesa, uko na anything, so si ati ajampenda juu ya love. So
sorry?
So I think ufai kupenda msi juu ya kitu ana bring.
So you do agree with, I think his name was Mike, akisema for a man you should not be asking a lady that kind of a question. Do you agree with him?
Okay, according to biblical view, as a man unafaa ku bring 70% na a lady anafaa ku bring 30%, but modern view inafaa ukue 50-50, but I'm okay with it. Unaweza, as a lady you attract lady alisema you attract what you yeah. So I think kama uko broke, obvious you will attract the broke one. Wezi niambia someone ni rich alafu atenda tafute mtu mwenye ni broke. So ina depend na place meet. Kama you are a working class, mtapatana, both mtakuwa equal. So
interesting. On Facebook still, Muthoni Warutere is asking, what is marriage? ? It sounds like a very obvious question, Richard, but one nonetheless that many people and young people right now, even before they get into marriage, they're still pondering, what is marriage really? Because it goes with the kind of benefits and all that. So even as you ponder on that, we do have a caller right now. Margaret from Mombasa. Finally, we have a lady caller. Margaret, habari asubuhi, watu wa Mombasa mnaendeleaje?
Poa Mombasa, tashukuru Mungu.
Uko na swali au maoni on our conversation? Sisi tunauliza, kwa marriage, love ndio inaanza ama ni companionship?
Okay. I think I have a contribution.
Yes.
Allow me to say that according to my definition of love, as guided by scripture,
okay,
love is not feelings, according to me. It is giving or meeting the need of another individual.
Right.
And that's why our teacher, Jesus, says, love your enemies. How can you love an enemy? Would you feel nice loving an enemy? So according to scripture, love is giving or meeting the need of an individual.
Okay.
So when we come to marriage, meeting the need of the spouse is key.
All right.
And therefore an understanding of what does a spouse need. And when we meet that, then we'll enjoy marriage. Feelings will come because of the way we are treating one another. If we love if we are meeting one another's need, feelings will come.
Okay.
Good feelings. That is my contribution.
Right. Asante sana Margaret kutoka Mombasa. Salimia sana to Mombasa. And thank you for calling. So I love how Margaret has given us her own definition of love, even using the Bible. So we have the definition of love. Fine, someone understands. So this is love. But as her name was Muthoni Warutere, asking on Facebook, what is marriage, Richard?
I like her honesty and like also what Muthoni is saying. One, we have a generation that says marriage is a scam. And legitimately so, based on where they're coming from, the way they have been groomed and raised and what they've been able to experience, they have a way they express it with finality that it's a scam. But when you go to the simple elemental basics, I would want to say that love is of the heart, is expressed in words, and is made complete with a corresponding action. If you go into any relationship, which I said, you begin with dating and courting this wonderful person, you have a community of people who would hold you accountable in that trust. That is, you go for the rasho. If you go for traditional marriage, you gather your family and her family. They hold in that trust to enter into a covenant relationship, which is traditional. Then they give you an opportunity to go to the registrar's office, the AG's office, at Sharia house, you sign into an opportunity where the government of Kenya holds an accountable relationship, that you're entering into a covenant relation between the two of you. And then you're done with it, you come to a local church and say, now I am here for the opportunity not only to openly say to all that I am taken and she is taken, I also want you to hold me to this trust and this responsibility. Then that local church also says, now you need to join a small care group as a married person to help you into this journey. That's the script someone else was saying. So, it doesn't have a script. The script begins from there. There's a script people use in those small care groups that help you to furnish you with wisdom on how to care genuinely for one another for a lifetime.
So that lifetime is where I want to pick it up, because I've heard from all of you and even from the callers and viewers saying the kind of benefits you get here is a generation that you have, watoto, conjugal rights as well, and what else? The companionship as well. Someone would ask, I can get all this without a marriage. I don't have to get married to get all this kind of benefits that you're advising me to get married to. So as a company watoto, you can either decide to adopt or surrogacy, all that. If it's conjugal rights, you know where to maybe get that. Companionship, you can also plan that without option your marriage. Do you think that is something that people also think about?
Yeah, it is true. You can get sex, you can get companionship, you can get kids without, being in a marriage. It is true, and I agree. But the question is, for how long will you be having sex with other people outside? For how long? You also need to understand one thing. You want to have this kid or you want to get into marriage, Sindio? You need to understand one thing, and this especially goes to the women who always say, I can have a kid. It's okay to have a kid. But you understand one thing. This kid will finally grow up and they will walk away from you. Alafu utabaki peke yako. Alafu kutoka hapo itakuwaje. And you need to understand, no man is an island. You need someone to talk to. You need someone to laugh with. You need someone to cry with. That is the whole aspect of a companionship. Sawa. It's not about sex and watoto and what. Hizi vitu, watoto wanakujanga wanaenda. Sex, iko, I mean. So, but you need to, kukuwa na mtu si vibaya. Just have the right person for you and it will work for you. Underline the word the right person. But you need to also be the right person for you to get the right person. Yeah.
Lydia, it's like you're really amazed by
the right person. Right person.
I mean, the kind of conversation even people are having here is the same. At the end of the day, and mostly even for a man, you'd be asking yourself, what are the benefits really? Because I think someone was asking here, does marriage still exist? Because someone is asking, what kind of benefits am I even getting? I mean, all this that you're telling me, I can still get it out of marriage.
Yes, it's true, you can get them. But now the question is, how comes most people fight and kill because of being cheated on? It's because human nature, the way we are created, you need that one person to be with. Because you can't spread yourself so thin. As in you're sleeping with Mary, you're going to Nani's for cleaning your clothes. All these things. Jerry is cooking for you. It's just too much for one person. Look at the person in the Bible who had all these concubines and many women. And he was the wealthiest and, they say the wisest, I wonder, in that area, King Solomon. But later on, at the end of his life, he says vanity. Because, there are men who say, I have the money, I can get any woman I want. But you look at them at some point in their life, they are so miserable, especially when during a low moment, when tragedy strikes, that's when you realize that for sure a companion is needed. That person you can call upon, who can, cry with you, who can laugh with you, who can journey with you. So you can't just say that all these people will be there for me when at my lowest, because in good times and bad times. And the sad part is that sometimes the bad times could be more than the good times. As you're speaking and highlighting the need for the young people, there's something I saw during the protest. Someone had a banner saying, "Atogopi polisi tunaogopa marriage." And I think the reality is, I was captivated by that statement. Why are people fearing marriage? It's because there's a script which is negative, which has been shared over and over again, and the positive one is not shared. Actually, if you post anything positive on marriage, the first thing inakwanga nini hapo chini mtaachana tu. It's a scam. So most people shy away from saying that actually you can work your marriage. So if you're a young person desiring marriage, it's not a bad thing, it's a good thing. Get mentors around you, get people who believe in marriage. One, there's something my parents told me. You must love the marriage institution more than the person. That way you will follow the bylaws and the rules in that, which are meant for that marriage. But if you're just talking about, I just want to get married for what? Why are you getting married? First find out why you're getting married. If it's for society, to tick boxes, please evaluate it again, because you have to have a reason for getting married before even just saying that I'm marrying this person. Love the idea of marriage first before even thinking of who am I marrying.
Right.
Yeah.
It's about 4-5 minutes to half past the hour. Time to get some last thoughts, parting shots. Then I'll start with you, Richard. As much as we're still having this conversation, someone out here is not yet convinced that I can really get any benefits when it comes to marriage, as much as anasikia tunasema love is just a feeling inaweza and all that. In a minute or so, your parting shots to these people who really want to get into marriage and advice.
I want to acknowledge her parents, my wife's parents. They've been married 56 years. And every time I sit around with them, I love to glean off their wisdom. Marriage is not transactional. Like she's asking, what is in it? I can get it elsewhere. Marriage is not transactional. But there's an exponential multiplication of everything, literally, that is added to your benefit or vantage point when in covenant relationship with someone. I've seen it in her life and the life of her parents. Since where I came from, there are a couple of things which were significantly lacking. They were accessorized by marrying her and observing her parents. I would encourage a young man, look out for distinct individuals in the community where you are who are hilariously happy in their marital union and get to learn from them.
Right. Mira, in about 45 seconds, 30 seconds, parting short advice.
Okay, just like I said, marriage is a process, so it needs time to grow. So don't listen to anyone. Love is not a scam. Marriage is not a scam. So get the right person, start a life with, then you'll thank me later.
Kolo?
First of all, I want to start by wishing my cousin happy birthday, Flo. So for marriage, define what works for you, and just because your parents' marriage never works, your parents' marriage doesn't define your own marriage, and other people's marriages don't define your own marriage. Look for advice from the right people, because we go looking advice from the wrong people. That is why we don't, tunonanga marriage kama yezi work. We consume a lot of negativity. Yeah, so look for positive people who think right, and your marriage will work, and put God first.
Right. Lydia?
I think we take a lot of time seeking knowledge in other areas, our careers, our professions, but you don't seek knowledge on marriage, and it's needed. Seek knowledge, get wisdom, and also get counsel from the right people. Yeah.
Right, thank you. Josie, hello, companionship and love work hard. Marriage to me is all about love and companionship. Marriage is real and much alive. And the final one, I agree, we are roommates because we are married and lonely. That and much more in our digital platforms. Continue talking to us. Is marriage is really coming or matters love or companionship? We're taking a short break. When you come back, tutaingia jikoni na wewe on Tasty Wednesday and just help you have more culinary skills. Coming up at around 10 a.m., there is a graduation